Hi, welcome everybody. Thank you guys so much for being here. Uh, very excited to be here. It's been a while since we got together. So today I'm just double checking that our internet is okay, and that looks great. So I'm going to turn that one off and say hello. Good morning. Thank you guys so much for being here. Today is April in Vancouver. This is Felicia from SweetGeorgia Yarns, and today we're just going to talk and catch up about all the things that have been going on behind the scenes here at SweetGeorgia in the past couple of weeks. Now, yeah, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I see a number of people on the chat here. Lovely to see you guys, and some of you guys are first time coming today. Yeah, excited to have you guys all here today. Thank you so much. So, lots has happened in the past couple of weeks. Lots has happened in the world and in our world as well. I mean, um, the last time that we met was in March, and it was just before spring break. And so for us, I have two very, well, not very young, but young kids. They're 9 and 11, and so we had spring break with them. It was very, very busy spring break. And we had first week of spring break was here still locally in Canada. And then after that, we had 2 weeks in Asia. And so I have lots of things to share with you from that trip in Asia, and also things that I've been making, things I've been working on, things that are going on here at the studio as well. So just want to catch you up on all of those things. And feel free, if you have questions along the way, feel free to pop them into the chat. And I'm happy to answer whatever questions I can on the call here as well. Fantastic. So let me share with you some of the things that have happened sort of in our world here since we last chatted. Now I'm short one computer monitor, which is why like I can't see half of the things on here. So let's go here and see if that works. Oh yay, that works. Okay. So, like I mentioned, we spent about 8 days over spring break in Japan and in Tokyo, just Tokyo this time. I used to go back to Japan quite not often, but every couple of years or so. But it has been 10 years since I've been back to Japan. And so this was great. It was great because I had a chance to bring both my kids there. Uh, Russell has been to Japan before, but I don't think he remembers. He was just a baby at that time. And then my daughter has never been there before. And so we went at this time at the end of March for lots of family reasons. We met both of my brothers there. Both of my brothers also have two kids each. So there's six kids running around Tokyo, me and my husband, my two brothers and their wives, and so we had a ton of fun in Tokyo. And you can see we arrived just as the cherry blossoms were starting to come out. We were there maybe 3 days too early, and we left. I mean, we left 3 days before all of the cherry blossoms had bloomed everywhere. But there was a lot of people coming to come see cherry blossoms. And my brother and my sister in law, they got engaged in Tokyo at this time many many years ago, but in front of cherry blossoms. So we went back to the park where the proposal happened, and at that particular park, which is near Shinjuku, there was only like a handful of trees that actually had any cherry blossoms on them. And so literally everybody was taking photos in front of just one tree. And so this photo that I have up here with the cherry blossoms, I have a few photos that are really great from this one specific tree in Shinjuku because there was no other trees that had cherry blossoms on them. So that was great. It was nice. It's always nice to be reminded this season about cherry blossoms. We have often in the past at Sweet Georgia done colorways specific to this cherry blossom season because it's so fleeting, and the message of that moment is really really important. It's that there's this beautiful thing that happens, and the time of that happening is so short, and so you have to just stop and whatever you're doing, and you just need to admire and enjoy and appreciate the thing that's happening in the moment right now, because in a minute it'll be gone. And it's true, like while we were away, I know cherry blossoms started to bloom back home here in Vancouver. There are cherry blossom festivals in Vancouver as well. And the festival in our local area happened the day after we returned home. And then right after that day, there was 3 days of like pouring rain. And now a lot of the cherry blossoms are gone. So it's just a reminder that this moment in life passes so quickly. Just stop, pause, and enjoy all the things about it. You can see there's a couple of other photos here. There's no way to encapsulate, a trip like this in 6 photos. But there's like a photo of Russell here taking a video of us at this conveyor belt sushi place, which I've never done before, but it was actually really, really fun and super great. This is my daughter Nina in front of all of these gachupon machines trying to choose something. And basically it's you stick in like 100 yen, which is basically the equivalent of about $1. So it's $1 or $2, and then you turn the little dial and you get a little ball out and you don't know what you're going to get. It's a bit of a surprise. She's like obsessed with these things. And then there's just so much of everything. There's so much selection and there's so many people in Tokyo. um, my sister-in-law wanted to go to this street called Kappabashi Street, which is a street where they sell all kitchenware. It's all like knife shops and restaurant supply shops and cookware. And so we all headed down there and took a look. But I ended up in this particular knife shop, which was absolutely fascinating. Like they have a team of these artisan, um, basically blacksmiths, knife makers, knife artisans, and each of these knives goes for anywhere from like $500 to $2,000 for one single knife, just because of the care and attention that's been put into it. So I find it absolutely fascinating. And then on that same street, I found the shop where they assemble uh, replica food. So these two bowls here in the photo, it looks like ramen, it looks like noodle bowls, but these are not real food. They are 100% plastic and resin food that has been assembled from individual pieces of plastic food. And then someone has put them together and resined it all together to make this dish that looks like real food. And so, if you were to buy one of these, display bowls of noodles, it goes for like about 5,000 yen, I think it is, from my photos. And so that's about $50, maybe 40, $50 for one bowl. But this is a display bowl that you would put in front of your restaurant to attract people to come in and have whatever you're serving. So it's things are so different and there's so much of everything, but the one message that I feel like I came away with from this time's experience in Japan is just, even though there's so many people and there's so much stuff and there's so much choice and there's so much everything going on, at the same time there's an incredible amount of attention to detail. And so it seems like there's still time to slow down and pay attention to what you're making, pay attention to what you're doing, and to do it to the best possible level that you can do it. Just the care and attention into things, I think, is something that I've taken away from that particular part of the trip. So that was really a great thing to be able to do. Now, let's see. I'll show you this part of the trip. The next part of the trip was my whole family, my brothers and I, we went and we met up with my parents in Taipei. And this was entirely to visit a lot of my parents, where they grew up, the university where they went to school. We went to go visit, like, we went on a couple of hikes on the mountainside. My sister in law wanted to see buffalo. She wanted to find wild buffalo in the fields. And so we went on a hunt for looking for wild buffalo. We also went to my dad's hometown, the apartment where they lived when they were younger. This is the photo inside the university, which is kind of like got all these photos from everywhere from the 1940s, 50s, 60s, 70s, like all the people in there. So it's just like, really, it was 100% a family trip, just to see a lot of where they grew up and what they'd been doing. This photo down here, I don't know why I'm so enamored with this, but this is a bowl. It's like an instant pot, but it's a pot of marinated tea eggs, which you can, this is a photo from the 7-Eleven. And so, you have 7-Eleven everywhere, but the 7-Eleven in Taiwan, you can get these marinated eggs. And I just think that that's so neat because it's just what it is that you need that's convenient, that's great. And I didn't even get a chance to eat one of these eggs, but they're like one of my favorite things ever. So yeah, that was our trip to Taiwan. We again, it's difficult to encapsulate all that in just a slide. Um, but yeah, it was an entirely a family trip and did not get a chance to see any yarn things at all in pretty much either Japan or Taiwan. The only part of Japan was that I did go visit a spinning mill, the spinning mill that makes our silk mist yarn. I did go and visit them, and that was an amazing trip. And I'll probably talk about it a little bit later on and go into a little bit more detail about that. But that was an amazing trip to see where the yarn was put together. And so, yeah, excited to share that with you guys soon. But while I've been away in these past couple of weeks, one of the things that we have come out with and launched and sort of brought back that I want to share with you guys is that we brought back our podcast. We brought back the Sweet Georgia Show. And so this is a show that I started when the kids were really, really little and I was at home and and it was feeling very, very disconnected from the community of knitters and makers and all sorts of things like that. And so creating this show and having these opportunities to have conversations with people in the community was really, really important to just sort of learn more from people, see what everybody's doing, and just be more in all of that. And I talked about this a lot on this episode 100 that we released a couple of weeks ago. But really, I feel like right now, what we do need is we need more opportunities to connect with this community. Um, when everything is becoming very fragmented and very, segmented, I want a way to have these conversations where we can bring more people together. So, in any case, a couple of weeks ago, we started with this episode 100 of the show. And then you'll see that we have recently released a couple of episodes. So far, the episodes have been with Loose Ends Project. And so you can see this is the sort of the photo of many finishers from that Loose Ends project, which is an amazing project. It would be episode 101. I encourage you guys to go check that episode out. And it is all about this worldwide movement of knitters and crocheters and makers who are finishing projects that are left behind by people who have passed away, and so helping to finish those projects and then deliver them to the people who they were intended for. So it's an incredible story. I encourage you to listen to that. As well, there's a photo up here. This is Peter Dickey, who is showing someone how to weave for the first time. This is from episode 102, where we talked with Mari and her son, Peter, about their project Radical Weavers, and that is in Scotland. It's in Stirling, Scotland. And that's also a really, really interesting program that is going on there. So I have links here to where the podcast can be found. It's basically sweetgeorgiayarns.com/podcast will get you to this link, or you can go to the Buzzsprout page where links and shows all of the episodes that we've ever done, all 102 so far, because we've done them from years ago as well. You can find them on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, everywhere you find podcasts. And then we also have a number that are queued up and ready to come out very, very shortly. And so I have interviews with Amy Scher, who is a knitwear designer. Also originally from Taiwan and now in the US. And then we also have an interview that I did with Andrea Louie, who is a physiotherapist, a physical therapist. And she specializes in helping makers and knitters, crocheters, like anybody who's doing fiber arts. She's also a fiber artist herself, but she's helping people with sort of ergonomics and mobility and making sure that you can craft without hurting yourself. So we have an entire conversation about that as well. And that's all coming out. We're publishing them on Wednesdays, every other Wednesday at this point in time. And so we have a number of other interviews scheduled as well. So please do. I mean, let me know what your feedback is about the show. If there's any guests that you are wanting us to chat with or wanting to learn more about, I'm absolutely happy to hear about anybody that you guys want to suggest. So excited to bring this show back as well. Now, what else do we have to talk about today? I have this was the colorway for our secret stash uh, program from last month. And so this champagne dreams, I wanted to put this in here because I actually did knit a sample with this. I knit this on the knitting machine. I used a pattern that was created by Barb Barone, who is going to be teaching our machine knitting classes for the School of SweetGeorgia. And so I used her pattern and I knit this scarf. It is done. It is sort of mostly blocked, but I knit this and was basically experimenting with a little bit of TikTok live at the time. And so if you caught that, thank you for clicking on the link to watch the TikTok live. But yeah, I'm just basically kind of setting up the knitting machine in the attic, and then I will occasionally turn on this TikTok live just while I happen to be making things. So if you see that happening, please do say hi and excited to give this a try. It's kind of fun to have a little bit of company while I'm making these things. So I knit this one on the machine. It took about maybe a couple hours because I have to make increases and then I have to like pick up all the stitches and move them across the bed. I knit a couple of other things on the machine, like big shawl projects. Each shawl took about an hour to make. It was like it's great. I do encourage you, if you're wanting to make things a little bit more quickly and you're interested in using a lot of your stash or your knitting yarn, I do encourage you to check out machine knitting, especially with this LK150 machine. It's fantastic. It was great. So I wanted to share that one with you. This colorway is still available if you want to look for it on our shop site. But this leads into this month's Sweet Secret Stash release. So let me show you what we have this month. So this month's colorway is called So Kawaii. And so this is entirely because of the trip that we took to Japan. I really, really wanted to make something that was kind of like reflective of that kind of experience. I know that every year we do sort of a cherry blossom colorway around April, around this time. And I wanted a slightly different perspective on that kind of feel. And so this one, kawaii, basically refers to kind of like an aesthetic that is really cute, it's really sweet, really innocent. If you think of Hello Kitty, Hello Kitty is very kawaii, but it's basically like permeated as an aesthetic into all things, like how you dress, how you talk, how you write, how like everything can have this aesthetic to it. And so I just wanted to create a colorway that could kind of reflect a little bit of that and just play with that idea a little bit. And then the story is in the package is very much about like how wanting to take our kids to Asia and have them experience and see a little bit about where they came from. They're not born there, but like where their relatives have come from, where their family has come from. I want them to see all that and be able to like absorb it and know that it is part of them as well. So that's kind of what the story was about. And yeah, this is our color. It's pink, it's cute, it's fun. This one happens to be dyed on the BFL and Silk Fine this time. And that is one of our we've had this yarn for a bit of time and it is beautiful yarn. Blueface Leicester is one of my absolute favorite wools. It's soft, it's glossy, but at the same time, it's a little bit more hard wearing. This one has the silk component to it. We released another yarn called Trifecta, and the Trifecta has additional mohair added to it, like shiny mohair added to it. But this one is just Blueface Leicester wool and silk yarn blended together. Beautiful yarn in a fingering weight. So because it is fingering weight, you can make socks with it. And so this is the sample that was knit. Charlotte at our studio, she knit these socks. And the sock pattern, show it up here. The sock pattern is called Kelias, Kelias. It might not show up very well on screen. Kelias. But we have knit this particular sock pattern in a number of different colorways. I think we did one a while back that was like a orange gradient. I think it was called Modern Mandarin. And that one showed up here. But yeah, these are the socks that were knit by Charlotte. And so the pattern there, designed by Tabitha Hedrick, you can find on our website as well. Now, this yarn is not treated in any way to make it washable. And so if you do make socks out of it, I would just be really a little bit more gentle with washing them. I think washing them generally is not so much of an issue. It's more of the drying. I would never, ever put hand knit things in the dryer. That will destroy your yarn and the things that you've made. So, yeah, you can definitely make socks out of this. I would be gentle with them, be gentle when you wash them, and then just lay them flat to dry. And that is a great way to do that. So, if you are interested in this particular colorway, we do have this on right now. We have extras. We always make a few extras of all of these Secret Stash projects. And so, this is the monthly subscription club. So, if you want to receive these packages at your doorstep every month, then you can absolutely come and subscribe and join the Secret Stash subscription club at any point in time. So, in order to get next month's delivery, the May Club delivery, the deadline for subscribing would be April 15th. Our cutoff is the 15th of every month. Yeah, so if you sign up anytime before the 15th, you'll be able to get the May Club. And yeah, if you want the April colorway, then you can go and find those online. We do have those extra skeins. So excited to share that one with you guys. Every month, we show the colorway that we come up with for the Secret Stash. Of course, we always welcome your feedback. And if there's particular yarns you want to try, if there's particular blends you're interested, we use the club as sort of uh, an experiment for us and sort of to push us in terms of a team that's creating different colors on different blends of yarn, trying different things, trying different dyeing techniques. A lot of this is for us to sort of push the boundaries of what we normally do. So always open to feedback on all of that. Now, now that it's April, this is the thing that we wanted to share and talk about. And since I got back from my trip, I have been doing a lot of purging and a lot of cleaning, just kind of going through all of the things and working on ways of kind of bringing down the yarn stash and looking at what we have and what we have to work with. And so, one of the things that we're doing this month is kind of like encouraging you guys to look at spring cleaning, a bit of a stash down, and so we're looking at ways of organizing our stashes, how to use our stash for projects and things like that, stash busting projects, and all of that. And so you can find all of that on the blog. You can see some of the photos here, little bits and scraps of yarn. We make a lot of mini skeins at the studio. If you may know, we make Party of Five mini skeins. We've been making them for more than 10 years now. And then we started also making these things called hexahues, which are 6 mini skeins in a box. And then we also started making individual mini skeins. So you can just pick up one mini skein if you want. And then we also started making micro skeins, which is like half the size of a mini skein. So there's a lot of mini skein production happening at our studio. And so we do have a lot of these sort of extra bits of yarn left over from making those mini skeins. So you should really see some of the projects that Anita has created with these extra little bits of yarn. There's an amazingly gorgeous project that she works on down in the front shop in the retail area. And we will be sharing those kinds of things on the blog as well. So you can see the tiny little owls that have been made from scraps of yarn. You can see some labeling. You can see Charlotte working on a hat. There's a lot of stuff coming. So that's the first post that has been posted on the blog. So Greta's just posted the link to that. You can find that there. But yeah, a lot of sort of spring cleaning, spring organization happening right now, kind of reevaluating how much yarn do we have and what do we want to do with it. Now, I have a photo here. This is what Greta is doing with her yarn. And so there's a bag here with all of the yarn, with the yardages, like the weights calculated. So if you weigh all of your yarn and you know how many yards per 100 grams that you have, then you can figure out how much yardage you have, and then you can figure out what kind of project you might make from this. And so um, So you can read a little bit more about the details of how Greta works on her projects. So that is all there. Now, before we move on to other things, I'm going to first share with you some of the things that I have been working on. And the first thing is this. So I had been working on the Girdwood sweater, the Girdwood cardigan for some time. Do I still have a picture of it? Ah, yes. So it's supposed to look like this. I've been talking about this for a while, and part of the reason is because I was going to spin all of the yarn for this project, and so I did. I had taken the Trail Runner colorway, and I was using BFL and silk spinning fiber. It's the Blueface Luster spinning fiber, and took two braids of that. I have videos about how I broke up all of the different colors and made some gradient sort of piles. And then I pulled it all through a set of hand cards and then later a blending board to basically diz all the fiber, make it all beautiful and nice and smooth and all this kind of stuff. And then I ended up, rather than doing a 3-ply yarn conventionally from 3 bobbins, which is initially what I had wanted to do, I ended up doing 2 chain plied yarns. And so what I have here is the yoke of my sweater so far. There's a needle poking out here. This is the yoke of my sweater so far. It fits. I tried it on this morning. It's great. I love it. And it's working out really, really well. But you can see this is the basket where I'm holding all of my yarns. I got this basket in Japan from Muji. There's a Muji store in Vancouver too, but it was way less expensive to buy it in Japan. So I brought this little basket home with me. And yeah, so I have my 2 balls of hand spun yarn here, and I'm basically alternating between these 2 yarns as I knit every round. So when I get to the end of the round, I kind of compare these 2 balls to see which color should come next in the progression as I'm trying to do this fade down the yoke of the sweater. And then you can see here, this is one of the colors of Silk Mist that I'm holding together with, this is a BFL and Silk DK yarn. And so these 2 yarns are being held together in order to produce the, the contrast section here. And then I have one color here of Silk Mist that I'm holding together with my hand spun to do this background yoke. And so yeah, you can see the colors fading down really, really nicely. I've basically finished the yoke and now I just have to decide on what color to make the whole body. But I think the body will also be this birch color. I don't think I've really ever had a very light colored sweater, so I don't know, concerned a little bit, but or I could just make it sage. Maybe I make it sage green. In any case, I am excited about this. It's coming along. Now that I've finished the color work portion, I think that it'll kind of be much faster to work on. And I had just to have the whole thing piled into the basket is very, very convenient. And yeah, that is in progress. It is happening. It will be finished. It will be finished. Now, other ideas for stash down and things that you maybe are working on. I have here a little thing called the rib welt scarf. That's a mouthful. The rib welt scarf. And so this one was basically knit by Greta. I'm actually wearing it right now. It's this one right here. Ta-da! I'm impressed. The color looks the same as it does in the photos, which is hard to do on these live streams. But this sample was knit by Deborah Darwoon. And the pattern is by Sweater Freak or Jenny from Sweater Freak. And so you can see there is a link to the pattern there. But you see, this is one skein of Cash Lux Fine. So it's one fingering skein, one fingering weight yarn that is in a cashmere blend. And it's a beautiful yarn, Cash Lux Fine. This color happens to be Atlantis. And then it's held together with one skein of Silk Mist in Lupine. Lupine. Oh, yes, knit by Deborah. Absolutely gorgeous and amazing. I wish that you guys could feel what this feels like. I can't I can't tell you how soft it is, but it is so incredibly soft. It's the combination of the cashmere together with the silk mist feels unbelievable. And so this colorway also turns out really lovely when you knit it and you mix it together. Again, I love this addition of the silk mist to everything. So this silk mist, when you just add this one little strand, it makes everything so soft and so lovely and kind of changes the color ever so gently. So this is Atlantis, that colorway um, in the Cash Luxe Fine. And then when it's mixed with a little bit of this purple silk mist, it takes on a slightly different colorway, slightly different color haze. Because I'll show you this one. It's slightly different. Maybe I can take this thing off. So this one is the Cash Luxe Fine with the Silk Mist. This one is the same colorway, but this is Superwash DK, and it does not have any Silk Mist added to it. So it doesn't have that haze. It doesn't have that sort of overlay of color. So the mixing and blending of color here with the lupine, which is definitely more purple, it's made this shade a little tiny bit more blue purple, and this one is still a little bit more blue, almost, yeah, on the blue side. Let's see. They're a little bit different. Yeah. Both really beautiful though. I mean, this one is the Clapo Tea from Nitty. And so this is a nice project too. If you have a lot of sort of hand-dyed yarn, colors that seem like they would be difficult to manage, this one is a great project too. So this is the Clapo Tee from Nitty.com, and this one is the Rib Welt Scarf. This one, just one skein. This is a great thing to make if you have stuff in your stash that you're wanting to use. So that's a great one. And then we have some other projects that we're going to share in the coming weeks as well. The fiber is not itchy at all. Not not at all. This cashmere yarn is absolutely not itchy. And I don't know, maybe somebody from the studio can also mention what you think, but I don't think that the silk mist is itchy at all. It's a very, very fine kid mohair, and so the mohair itself is very, very soft. And then it's obviously it's combined with silk, so again, all that's also very soft. The thing that I'm doing here with the yoke of this sweater is I am carrying this color together with this olive color. And so you think, well, these two colors don't look anything alike, but it's that fact that you're combining these two colors that's causing a tiny bit of optical mixing happening. And so you can maybe see a little bit, there's a little bit of marling that's happening here with those colors. And so the marling helps kind of mellow out that green color that's in here and tie the whole yoke together, because there's this literally a common thread. There's the common thread of that thin, tiny little strip of purple that's going through all of this and causing it all to blend together really nicely. So that is that. Now, if you are looking for more ideas on ways that you can use some of the stuff in your stash, we have here a Party of Five mini skein pattern sale. So basically, all of the patterns that we have released that use mini skeins, that use little bits and pieces of yarn, we are putting those on sale right now. There's a 20% off sale, and you don't need a coupon or anything like that. There is a link there to go find those patterns. Whoops. But yeah, all the patterns that involve mini skeins you can find on sale right now, 20% off. And hopefully that might help you with some of the stash if you're looking to sort of move through your stash a little bit quicker. And prepare for a new season. One of the things that we're hoping to do later on this year, and I'll talk about this later, is that we were wanting to do a big knit along together in the summer. That's going to be about knitting a sweater, knitting a colorwork sweater. And so to kind of like cleanse the palette and get ready for all of that, then I highly encourage you guys to join us on this sort of April stash down. Now, I wanted to mention The school, if you guys are unfamiliar with the school, we do have an online fiber art school that we started back in 2017. We've been building it for a long, long time now, and now we have over 115 classes for the fiber arts. Everything from knitting to crochet to spinning to dyeing, weaving. We have tapestry classes, we have punch needle classes, there are classes on fiber prep, there are classes on color theory, design. There's a ton of courses. And so because there are so many courses and because we know that it is very difficult sometimes for anybody to absorb or watch 115 courses at one time, we developed these sort of craft-based membership options. So you can get an option where you only sign up to watch just the spinning classes, or you only sign up for the weaving classes, or you only sign up for the knitting and crochet classes. And so this allows you to kind of focus a little bit more on what you want to work on at this moment. I always say you can do all of the crafts, but it might be challenging to do all of the crafts all at the exact same time. So if this year you want to focus on knitting and crochet, and then next year you want to focus on spinning, whatever it is, this is one way to sort of go about this. For that knitting and crochet membership, as we start to add machine knitting classes to the School of SweetGeorgia, that will also be something that we will pop into the knitting and crochet membership. So if you have that option, those machine knitting classes will come to you as well. And again, machine knitting, very good way to use up that yarn stash. Just saying. That's what I'm planning to do too. Yes, thank you so much, Elena. Thank you. Now, this is the newest class that has been released on the school. It is taught by Katrina Stewart of Crafty Jacks. She also has a hand dyeing yarn business and does fiber and teaches spinning. She's taught many of our spinning classes and also taught carding on the School of SweetGeorgia. And so she comes back to the school this year to teach ice dyeing. And so ice dyeing is something that is spectacular to look at. It's fun to watch. Katrina actually came and taught at the studio in person a couple of years ago in the summer, and she taught our fiber arts camp for kids. And so she led all of this little group of kids through the ice dyeing process, and they all dyed their own bags, their own cotton bags with fiber reactive dyes. And the process was so fun to watch. We thought that it would be fun to have her come back and teach all of us how to do this ice dyeing. And so she's come and she's demonstrated how to use the fiber reactive dyes on cellulose fiber or yarn. So you could use cotton warp, you could wind a warp and then toss it in a tray and then ice dye over it, all of this kind of stuff. And so she's taught us how to do that. And the class released yesterday on the school. So you can find that available now. Now, the thing that I absolutely love about fiber reactive dyes and ice dyeing is the fact that you can do this without any heat. Obviously, you're working with ice. You're not working with any heat. This dye does not need to be heated up in order for it to set. It needs time. And so the way that this works is that you can set up a tray with your substrate, your cotton, whatever, your fabric or your yarn, whatever you want to put in the tray, and then you add your ice, you add your dyes, and then you just need to give it time, right? You need to, there's obviously more details involved, but you just need to give it time. And then the colors will set into the yarn or the fabric. So you don't need to worry about complicated stove setups or how are you going to steam it or getting burned or anything like that. I think a lot of the hesitation and the complication around learning how to dye is, oh, I don't have equipment, I don't have a space, all these kinds of things. But ice dyeing and fiber reactive dyeing is something that you can do in the summertime, like outside your house. You can do it on the porch, you can do it at your back door, you can do it outside and just have it sit outside until it sets, and then you rinse it out. So, yeah. Um, that is something I encourage you guys to check out if you've never checked it out. And if you're interested in dyeing, but you're worried about how much sort of setup might be involved, this is a really, really easy way to get into it. I mean, that's why this is the one dyeing method that Katrina taught the kids how to do because it was so accessible. So, highly encourage you guys to check that one out. Now, we have a couple of other things that I wanted to mention. And so we do open our studio in Vancouver to the public. It is open Monday through Friday from 10 o'clock in the morning until 4 o'clock at night. And I know that those hours aren't ideal for people. And so, for that reason, we also started to open the studio on one Saturday per month. And so, it's usually the second Saturday of every month. So, it will be tomorrow. Tomorrow, we will open the studio for anybody in Vancouver or Lower Mainland who wants to come by, knit for a bit, come shop on a Saturday. The studio will be open. But we will also be open on Saturday, April 26th for local yarn store day, local yarn shop day. And so we will have a little bit of a sale going on there at that time as well. So if you are in the Lower Mainland sort of area or you're coming to Vancouver, please do come and visit us on LYS Day. And that is, I'm sure there will be other things going on at the other local yarn stores. So maybe make like a crawl day out of it as well. Yes. And finally, we wanted to remind everybody that we're constantly trying to find ways to connect with our community. I know that everything is very how do you say it, segmented these days, fragmented. There's some people who are on social media in various different platforms, and there are people moving to new platforms and all sorts of things like that. And so we have been trying to find the place that is the most mm, effective or the most efficient, the most convenient for most people. And so we know that many people are continue to be on Ravelry, and so we have a group on Ravelry that we started back in 2008. I think we've been there since the very beginning. And so if you happen to be on Ravelry, we are going to be doing more conversations and chats and things like that on Ravelry. Deb Darwoon, who's in the chat today, is our moderator for the Ravelry group. And so I do invite you to sort of pop over there, say hello. We're going to have some more sort of conversations happening in there as well. But Deborah is there to sort of help and guide and support and all those kinds of things. And then we also have many people on our team who pop into Ravelry as well. We also continue to have the Discord group that's on, and we have a long running community discussion forum in the School of SweetGeorgia. And so the School of SweetGeorgia community is very different because that is the spot where you can have direct sort of engagement with the instructors in the school. So if you say watched a class by one of the spinning teachers and you had a question about something, you can very often sort of tag that instructor, and the instructor will come back with really fantastic responses. So it's a really, really deep learning community, and just a lot of learning and information gets shared in that SOS community. So I do encourage you guys to come find us there. Yes. Yes. Elena is saying it was very busy with conversations and discussions. And so as we do more make-alongs and study groups and things like that, we will focus more of that conversation in the school community. It's very much a learning community. And like I mentioned before, we are wanting to do a sweater knit along. We're wanting to sort of celebrate Canadian knitwear designers. And so we put together a list of potential projects that we might want to make. If you've already voted, you don't need to vote again. But this survey is still up and running if you are interested in voting for what we might work on this year. We have a couple of other project ideas that we're considering as options to go into this sweater knit along. But yeah, this summer we want to do some color work and we want to do a sweater together. And then hopefully at Knit City, when we're there in September, maybe we'll see you in your fabulous new sweater project as well. So yes, you can check out that link, sweetgeorgiayarns.com/KAL 2025, and then send in your vote for which one we should make. And excited to see what you guys choose. We did post photos in the survey, so you don't have to remember what's what. You can just pick my photo. And that is basically what we have for today. This is the end. If you want to come and visit us, this is our address in Vancouver. We did move in January. We did move. We've been here for a bit. But yes, if you're still wondering where we're at, this is where we're at right now. And And you can find us online at sweetgeorgiayarns.com. Our shop is at shop.sweetgeorgiayarns.com. School is at schoolofsweetgeorgia.com. And then I still have my weaving stuff at lowmeetsloom.com. And you can come and sign up for our newsletter at any point in time. That is probably the best way to make sure that you don't miss anything in any of these places, because there's for sure a lot of things going on in a lot of different places. And sometimes it can feel like, oh, there's so much stuff. I don't know how to keep up with it. I don't know how to catch up with it. I think that the absolute best place to keep up with everything is on the newsletter, because that's where all of the important stuff gets sent out. And yeah, I mean, in order to do our podcast, we set up a separate YouTube channel for just the podcast episodes. And so you can find that at the Sweet Georgia Show. That's the YouTube channel there. And so you can listen to the podcast on YouTube, or you can listen to it on Spotify. But I know that there's a lot of stuff everywhere. Sweet Georgia's everywhere because we need to be everywhere. But if you want to know what's happening, the best place to find us is on the newsletter. So that is that. Yeah. So Blair is asking, when will we choose the sweater? Probably very shortly. Probably by May, I'm thinking, by mid May. Thank you for voting. It's fantastic. So, yeah, we're looking forward to doing that. I'm looking forward to finishing the sweater that I have right now so that I can get prepared for the next project. So once this is all done, I will be ready to make my fall sweater. And I will wear this at Knit City. This will be one of the projects, and then probably the sweater make along. That'll be my other project. And we have lots of fun things planned for this year at Knit City. So if you are planning to come and visit Vancouver in September, we are going to celebrate our 20th anniversary for Sweet Georgia at Knit City as well. And we're going to be doing some meetups. We're going to be doing a lot of demos. There's going to be machines. There's going to be all sorts of things that we have to share. For us at Knit City, it's very much like an not educational, but it's meant to introduce people to a lot of the fiber arts that you might not ever get a chance to see. So some people will see their a weaving loom for the very first time, or get to touch a weaving loom for the first time, maybe get to sit down at a spinning wheel for the first time. It's really our opportunity to do this kind of outreach and show you all of the things that are possible. So very, very excited about that. If you're in the area, I highly encourage you guys to come and visit and say hello. So that is basically it for today. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We will come back and do another one of these in May. Yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Thank you so much. I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.